Hi, I'm Valerie Engelhart, and in this video I'm going to be painting a parrot tulip in watercolor. I lately have really been into applying water and really juicy paint and using a spray bottle to move things around, and I thought, I wonder how I can apply that with a flower. And it's the time of year for tulips, and I thought, well, a tulip is a pretty simple shape. Let's try doing a tulip. So I've got Daniel Smith Permanent Red. I have some Canson Heritage 140-pound hot press paper, and I used a big mop brush to just put a lot of water at the top of my paper in kind of a bulb shape and have splattered very thick paint onto the water. I'm holding it upright and I'm letting that water flow downwards because I want to see what kind of cool textures I get. Now, usually I use a granulating paint, and this red is not granulating. That's just the nature of this pigment. And so I'm just experimenting, seeing what sort of effects I get. Now, I do want this to look like a tulip, so I'm using my oil fan brush. And now what makes it an oil brush is that it doesn't really hold water very well. And it's meant for holding oil paint, so the bristles are very stiff. And I'm using that to my advantage because I do want to create kind of these wiry bits of texture. Parrot tulips are different from regular tulips. I wonder if I should try and find a picture of one and put up here. But they're a little more wavy on the edges. So part of this technique is to pick up the paper and fold it and just let the pigment drip. And right now I've got a horizontal line coming out of my tulip and I didn't really like it, so I'm trying to better manipulate it with my spray bottle. And I'm just letting the paint drip down onto my desk because it's watercolor, it wipes off super easily. Patience is key here because to get the dripping effects, you gotta give that pigment time to travel in the water. So now I'm going into my Daniel Smith Green Apatite Genuine. Now this is a granulating color, and so we will get to see some really cool granulation effects when I add in water. The surface of my paper was starting to dry a bit too much, so I just gave it a quick little spritz, and I'm going in again with that oil brush and just really thick pigment straight from the tube, holding it up and giving it a spray because I want to get all of those little granulations and rivulets. I'm okay with some of that green going up into the tulip. If anything, that'll give it a nice transition connecting the two elements. That way it's not so cut out in space. But I am folding my paper, and if you're an American kid, this was called the hot dog style when you would fold the paper. If you do it the other way, it's the hamburger style. America. As you can see, as I'm spritzing the paint, do you see how the really heavy part of the pigment is creating that line? And it is just so cool as it dries. You get all of these. It almost looks like a river delta as seen from high in the sky. It's fascinating, and that green is just so vivid. And of course, because I've got red and green going on, we've got a complementary color scheme. Hi, Valerie here. I just wanted to pop in real quick and ask, do you want to paint with bold, vibrant watercolor? Well, I teach you how to paint this beautiful, dare I say, elegant elephant using bright tube paints and lovely texture effects. Just go down to the link below, and it doesn't cost any money. Sign up and you get a free watercolor lesson along with the line art so you can follow along. Okay, back to the video. Welcome back. Going back in, I'm spritzing my tulip again because I can't leave things alone. That is a problem I have, and that is a problem. That is one thing that I try and preach of, you got something cool happening, leave it alone, let it dry, let it do its thing. But even I fall victim to the, oh, well, what if I go in and do this? Oh, but seriously, look at that leaf, especially on the, gotta put up the L of my hand, the right side, which is now being covered by my arm. The texture in the leaves, just so cool. I've pulled out that fan brush again. The paper is still damp, and I want more of that feathery effect. I want to start influencing kind of the shape of this tulip, but I'm keeping things pretty soft still at this stage. And this is a study. This isn't going to be put up in a gallery. I'm not selling it. Oh, but look at those watermarks and see. So by having that big puddle of water up at the top of the tulip, it created those ruffles that I was really hoping to get, because that's what a parrot tulip looks like. It has like ruffly edges to its petals. And I want to accentuate that. So I've grabbed just that's a Da Vinci Cosmetop Spin size 3 round brush. And I'm going in with the alizarin crimson because it is a darker, cooler red. And using my size 8 round brush to just bleed that paint away, because I don't want it to necessarily be such a hard outline. And I do want there to be shadow that is shown on the inner petal. But I really want to accentuate that beautiful texture I got. And we do have some of that texture on the petal to the left, but it didn't come in as much. And you know what? That's okay. Having one that's more eye-catching than the other is great in art. Now going in and outlining the bottom of that left petal and bleeding that pigment away. And I'm just going to continue accentuating some of those feathery outlines to just really draw some more attention to them. Give a little more form to my flower. Now I'm putting in kind of that center that are on petals like this. But again, don't want a super hard line, so I bleed it away. And I don't like having continuous unbroken lines, so that's why I went in and left some gaps. But you do you. If you want a continuous line, paint that continuous line. This is one of the benefits to painting for the bin, essentially. Because I'm not going to do anything with this, I don't care if I throw it away at the end. There's nothing really else I can do with it, except use this as a learning experience and hopefully show you all and have you learn from it too, or inspire you. But because that is the case, because this isn't a commission or anything, I can play and experiment and try new things. And if something doesn't work out, who cares? I learned something. And then I can apply that whenever I do some big, serious, ultra professional painting. But you really got to give yourself time to just play around. And here's that finished painting. So if you like what you saw, press that like button so I know to make more like it. And if you want to see more, subscribe, because I make videos every Monday and Thursday. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.